You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there, enjoying your day, making it positive. It's a crazy day today. And we are going to be talking about that in another live. But I wanted to do this one really, really quick for you guys because, because I am going to be coming back to cover what everybody's basically talking about right now. It is absolutely nuts right now. Let's keep it real. Out here in these New York streets right now, it is pretty crazy out there. It is a circus, and don't get me wrong, I understand why a lot of people are covering it. We are going to be talking about it for sure. We will be covering it, but it won't be for a few hours. Actually, in a little bit, in just less than a few hours, actually. Okay. So we will be talking about that in another live, but I wanted to give you this quick one, this short and sweet, quick live so that we can kind of wrap up this story. Of course, there's going to be more going on here with this particular story, but there are some things that have been confirmed revolving around the case of Taylen Mosley, the 2-year-old that was found inside the mouth of an alligator. Yeah, no kidding. Found inside the mouth of an alligator. And of course, his mother was found gone in her apartment. Okay, so there are some new details that have sprung up. And of course, we have the mugshot and everything of this monster. And I call him the devil. This is the devil. You don't do this to kids. Never. We talking about kids, baby. We talking about kids. Okay? So, yes. We got to talk about those things. And of course, I will be back on in a very short amount of time to talk about the craziness, the madness, the uproar that's happening in New York City right now as we speak. Okay? So we are going to be talking about it for sure. And for those of you guys, I know for some of y'all, it might be the afternoon for y'all, but it's still technically morning in my neck of the woods. Okay? So there it is. Okay? And yes, including a certain powerful person. Yes. We will be talking about that for sure. Okay? So do me a favor before we start moseying down this conversation, kind of wrapping up at least this part of this case. Please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes as you guys start to waltz in. Again, good morning, because it's still morning in my neck of the woods. Good afternoon and good evening to every single last one of y'all that are watching on every corner of this planet. I really do appreciate you guys being here and being a part of this conversation, because I know y'all could be somewhere else watching the madness unfold on many other platforms. And of course, please do me a favor. If you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button, okay? Hit that subscribe button. Working hard out here in these streets. We're marching our way towards 100,000 subscribers, so please do that favor for me. That'd be absolutely appreciated, okay? Please and thank you. And of course, hit that join button if you just feel like supporting the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated as well. All right, we got to get into this, okay? We got stories to tell. We got things to talk about. Miles to go before we sleep, and we got quite the day for you guys. We will be watching the things that are going on in New York here in another live, which will be happening in about less than 2 hours from now. So you will be seeing me back live again. So make sure your notification bell is on and make sure it is selected to all, because I will be going live again very shortly after this show. This show will be short because this is pretty much a pretty fast wrap up because of what we covered in the last live about this particular case. So we got to get into this conversation on the case of Taylen Mosley and his mother, Passion Jeffrey. Okay. Now, real quick before we get into it, Mrs. and Mr. Steelers, thank you so much for being a member for the past 10 months. In their member chat, they said, sending love to everyone, excited to get into Trumpy Humpy. Yeah, I guess, yeah. It is quite the day today. It's a circus out there, y'all. It's an absolute circus. But that's not why we're here today, or at least in this particular live. Again, we will be talking about that for sure, checking it out without a shadow of a doubt, and watching some of the chaos unfold, because it's already been volatile as hell in New York City. But we're here to talk about Taylen Mosley, the 2-year-old that was found inside the mouth of an alligator just a day or two after going missing, after his mother was attacked, viciously attacked, where her life was taken inside of her apartment. It's terrible, okay? But we now have some more information, and now we get to see this monster be rolled in for his booking to finally be booked in the county jail in that area. So we got to get into some things, okay? We most definitely do. All right. So let us get into it. And like I said, this is going to be a short live, but I do appreciate you guys being here. And again, I will be back on very, very shortly after this live is over, okay? But I do want to wrap this story up and wrap this case, or at least this chapter of the case, up as quickly as best as we can. So here it is. Father who est, I guess, girlfriend more than 100 times, guys. So that's new information. And dumped toddler's body in a lake where he was found in the gator's mouth, or alligator's mouth, is seen in a wheelchair with both hands bandaged in booking video. Now, this monster's name, whom I'm only going to name his name once, and his name is Taylen Mosley. This monster is only 21 years old, y'all. 21 years old. Passion Jeffrey, the mother of Taylen Mosley, was only 20 years old. Yeah, you could say horde 21, for sure. For sure. And I agree, Darcy. They should have had him crawling in on his hands and knees. Okay? Forget the bandages, you know? Let him get all types of infections. That's exactly what he deserves. That's what I think, personally. Okay? But let's get into this, okay? So a father accused of doing this to his girlfriend, knifing, I guess, his girlfriend to her demise, and then tossing his 2-year-old son into a lake, was seen in a wheelchair with heavy bandages wrapped around his arms in new footage from his booking. Now, let me continue. I got so many freaking questions, okay? I got so many questions. Now, the monster, who is 21 years old, which I just told you guys, was charged with 2 counts of first-degree M after the body of Passion Jeffrey, 20, was found in her apartment in St. Petersburg on Thursday. Her body had been attacked, because I got to use these code words, but her body had been attacked over 100 times. Now, this monster was arrested after checking himself into a hospital for wounds on his arms, which authorities said were consistent with injuries caused by slippage during a knife attack. So imagine, okay, put that in your pipe and smoke on it just for 2 seconds, y'all. Think about that for just 2 seconds. He's attacking this young woman, mother of his child. She's only 20 years old. And he attacks her so bad and is so brutal that the knife kept slipping from how wet, if you get what I'm saying, how much red he caused. So these bruises, or these injuries that he received, were not because of her defending herself, but because of him attacking her. Think about that for just 2 seconds. That is vicious as hell. Vicious. The body of his son, which we already know, the body of his son that he had with passion, Taylen. Sorry, something's in my eye. Was discovered hours later in the mouth of a gator, or of an alligator, in a lake that Mosley, or this monster, allegedly pitched the boy into. In a booking photo, the monster wore a pair of scrubs and a dour expression as he was wheeled into the room by officers. His bandaged wrists appeared to be zip tied together, and he seemed to need help from the officers to stand before they began their procedures. So I keep wondering what actually went down. What happened in this? Because his hands, he's got injuries on his hands, severe, very, very bad injuries on his hands. What happened in this fight? If there was a struggle, and I hope that there was, I hope she gave him hell. But it does make you wonder, why couldn't he stand up on his own? Is he overwrought with guilt? He's weakened by guilt? Or was there other injuries on his body due to what he did? Because it just doesn't make sense. You know, maybe he's having a mental break. Maybe he's mentally breaking down or something. I don't know. There is speculation and word out here that maybe there was a history of mental health within this individual. But I have yet to hear anything confirmed about that as of yet. So it could very well be that he was just weakened. He's getting weakened by guilt, or shoot, mega truth. You savage right there. Even that too, playing for sympathy. That could be it too, playing for sympathy. Or he's injured in another way from attacking an innocent mother, an innocent young mother. But that's the question I have on that. The other part too, before we go into it and we look at this video of him being wheeled in and all that, the other question I have as well is, the son was, they're saying that he allegedly was pitched, like thrown into the doggone lake, guys. Thrown into the doggone lake. Let me show that to you. They say body of his son with Jeffrey Taylen was discovered hours later in the mouth of an alligator in a lake that Mosley, the monster, allegedly pitched the boy into. So my question that I have then on top of that is, was this young boy still alive when he threw him in the lake? And he just let him fend for himself? And I don't know how young y'all start to get your kids to learn how to swim, but I know that there's a lot of parents that get them started early. But not everybody does that. This is a 2-year-old baby. You just toss this baby into a lake and just say, figure it out? Good luck? Where are you mentally? What's going on in your mind for you to do something like that to a baby? How do you do that? If he doesn't see the ultimate price, if he doesn't get capital punishment in the ultimate way, if he's not facing that for this, then I don't know what to tell you, because it is Florida. Let me just repeat that. It is Florida. And Florida don't play. Okay? They don't. They crazy out here. So I would be surprised. I'd be absolutely stunned if he wasn't looking at DP, at the ultimate price here. Don't worry, we're going to look at this video here. But as you can see, look at this photo here. Is this the look of somebody who is sound of mind? Listen, I'm not trying to justify nothing. May this monster, this is not a man, this is a monster. Let this animal rot in prison. Let him face and pay the price for what he has done. But if you look at this, and we're going to show you the mugshot here in a second. But does this look like a person that is of sound mind? There's his mugshot. Throwing me off. I'm going to say he looks like a young Whoopi Goldberg. I said it. I don't care. It threw me off. I was like, wait a second. I thought this was the face of a woman. I really will say that. At first, when I first saw this, I was like, wait, is this a young Whoopi Goldberg? Like, damn. And I will roast him. I don't care. He's a piece of trash. All jokes aside, this man, does he look like does this monster look like he's sound of mind? I didn't mean to make it a joke, but damn. I'm just saying. That was my gut reaction. I'm sorry, babies. Okay? I'm sorry, babies. I'm sorry. Okay? But dag nabbit, if we can't roast these criminals, we'll all go insane. All right? No, I'm not trying to be mean. I love me some Whoopi. All right? But I'm saying like color purple. I thought this was like, okay. But yes, widow to widow. Yes, he looks possessed. He looks like he's crazed. And let's be real. No person that does this kind of act is in their right mind. Not one person that does this kind of act is in their right mind. Period. And it doesn't justify anything because this mother lover is terrible. Okay? He evil. This is the devil right here. And the devil has many faces. This happens to be the mask the devil's wearing today. But no person that does that thing, those acts, you can't sit there and say that person's sound of mind. It's just, there's no way. There's just no way. He must have had some sort of mental break, psychotic episode, whatever it is, still doesn't justify anything. Doesn't justify a damn thing. Again, bury him under that prison. Okay? But there should be no sympathy for this man. Zero. Who does that to their own kin, to their own blood? And then the woman that brought your child into the world. What makes you do something like that? Exactly. Over 100 times, y'all. 100 times. So let Whoopi Goldberg's little brother rot in prison. Okay? Let him rot in prison. Let's see if there's any more photos. This is the beautiful mother, Passion. And look at little Taylen. She was known as a loving and devoted single mother, striving to provide a better life for her son. She was only 20 years old, y'all. 20 years old. It looks like she's She was getting her, I'm assuming, getting her diploma in this photo, which is an amazing and beautiful thing. She was trying to better her life so that she could be the best mother she can be and have Taylen have a good life. And now she's no longer here. Here's little Taylen. Again, this, and I'm assuming this is a photo of when she was pregnant. And I'm only assuming that because of how she has her hand on her belly right there. Or, right here. Sorry. So I'm thinking that she was pregnant at this time. And that's interesting because, and I may be wrong. But if you notice, Taylen's name is on the shirt too. So of course she already found out gender, because you can find out pretty early nowadays. Maybe she wasn't pregnant at that time. I don't know. But the way she's holding her belly like that, it makes me think that maybe she was. But I could be wrong. Nicole B is saying, Pascal, she's not pregnant. I guess, okay, maybe she's not in that photo. But when she has a hand on the belly like that, that makes me think she's holding her belly because she's pregnant. Now, I could be wrong, okay? I could very well be wrong. So let me show you guys this photo or this video. Let me show you guys that too. And there's no sound to this video, so it's just him getting rolled in. Just getting processed, the normal standard procedure, okay? Of him getting booked. But they have to help him up. They had to help him up. Real talk. They had to help him up because of how jacked up, I guess he was. And God only knows what happens behind the jail. You know what I'm saying? Like behind the jail doors. You never know. Could have been anything. Tex-Mex said, yes, it is true. Taylen's birthday was in March. So he recently turned 2 years old in March. So not very long ago. Now, there's a possibility of him doing that to himself. We're going to continue into this article because there's a good possibility that this monster did some of that stuff to himself. Maybe out of guilt, maybe because he was trying to see if he can stage it as I was defending myself type of thing. You never know. You never know. People are wild these days. They come up with crazy ideas. They come up with crazy excuses all the doggone time. So there's a possibility that he could have said, oh, shoot, I just did this. And he could have did that. Those wounds could have been self-inflicted. It could have. Some from slippage, some from not. Maybe he wanted to, or maybe he wanted to go too. Out of guilt. You never know. But let's take a look at a little bit more of this, okay? Just a little bit more of this. So this monster had been at Jeffrey's home in the late afternoon last Wednesday with her family, with Passion's family, to celebrate the young father's birthday. So his birthday was recent as well. Several hours later, the monster arrived at his mother's house with severe lacerations to both of his hands and arms consistent with injuries caused by slippage during a knife attack. Again, let me say this too, because that's new information as well for all of us, that when you guys watch the show with me about Taylen, there's now new developing information, new updates. So Mosley, okay, the father of Taylen, just to make that abundantly clear, was at Passion's home on the late afternoon of Wednesday with Passion's family to celebrate the father's birthday. Several hours later, he arrived at his mother's house with severe lacerations to both arms and hands. So now that makes the timeline make a little bit more sense if you really think about it. Because at first we were wondering, well, what would make him be there? Why would the family suddenly be concerned about the well-being of Passion? Something must have happened. A fight must have happened. A disagreement or something must have happened during this birthday party, which made the family be concerned the very next day to start calling her up, checking in on her to see what happened. Like, hey, is everything okay? How did everything turn out? So on and so forth. So that could have been what happened here. You see what I'm saying? So when they were calling her Thursday, wanting to know if she's all right, what's going on, she didn't return phone calls. So something must have happened on his birthday that made them very concerned when they left, which is a good possibility here. But let's continue on, because this is more information that explains, it thickens up, it adds more meat to this timeline, which I know a lot of us have been wondering, what happened? How did this all go down? Why did it go down the way it did? Okay. So several hours later, he arrived, of course, with the lacerations, which we already talked about. Prior to arriving at his mother's house, this monster traveled to Lake Maggiore, I don't know how to pronounce that, to this particular lake, and in a premeditated fashion threw his son into the body of water. An action police classified as first-degree M. Absolutely, it's first-degree M. Dag nabbit. It's insane. This monster then arrived at his mother's house around 9 p.m. and from there went to the hospital to be treated for his wounds before being arrested. He was reportedly not cooperative with authorities, which also is a dead giveaway, baby. Okay, that's a dead-ass giveaway of guilt. You don't want to help anybody? You don't want to help authorities find your son? You're not cooperating? Man, you had your hand in this. You done did something, baby. You done did something bad. Moving on, a GoFundMe, which I will open up here so we have it. And of course, I'll share it in the chat in just a minute. But a GoFundMe established by the Mourning family that has now raised more than $20,000, described Jeffrey, Passion, as dedicated to making life better for her son. Taylen was described as a sweet and happy toddler who would grab anyone's phone and pretend to call his mom while she was at work. To see them together and their love for each other was a blessing. We will remember their love and will keep them in our hearts, it reads. Family members last saw Jeffrey and Taylen, or Passion and Taylen, on Wednesday, March 29th, around 5:30 p.m. They called for a welfare check on the young mother the next day when they were unable to contact her. Neighbors said they overheard a loud commotion near the apartment at around 8:30 on Wednesday night, but police were not called, which I still don't know why cops were not called at that time if there was bad things happening. If there was a commotion that seemed weird, I'm surprised no nosy neighbor didn't call up 50 just because. The next morning, Passion's mother called the apartment manager for a welfare check after her daughter missed their daily FaceTime call. So it could have just been that. But it does seem a bit weird, don't you think, that they expressed concerns the next day. And maybe they knew possible foul play because of the birthday party that they had for this monster the day before they called the cops. Again, there had to have been something. There had to have been something. Now, her body was found in the bathroom, which was described as a very violent scene and included a bloody fingerprint on a cleaning bottle that had been intentionally placed under a bed, according to the affidavit. There was also a bloody shoe print with the Gucci emblem on the bathroom floor where the victim was found. Law enforcement and family members initially hoped to find Taylen alive when his body was spotted being carried by an alligator in a nearby lake. An officer shot the reptile in order to retrieve the body. We're sorry it had to end this way, which I've told you guys about or read this to you guys before. Sniffer dogs, drones, and search teams have been dispatched to finding the young boy. He had celebrated his second birthday just 19 days prior to this tragedy. So, and of course, you know, this is what we have so far. This is the information we have out here. And of course, this is the face of the devil. Let's keep it real. This is very much the face of evil. And it's frustrating because there could have been some more things going on here. There could have been warning signs. There could have been red flags that were ignored that could have prevented, maybe could have possibly prevented this from happening. But that's not how it went. You know, this guy here, I guarantee you, there were signs of DV. I'm sure if they look back, the family looks back and sees moments trickling in and out of this relationship. I'm sure they saw the red flags. I'm sure that they saw the signs. And I'm not sitting here saying that it's anybody's fault. It's not. But I also do feel that if you see something, say something. If you feel something's not right, see what you can do to help that family member out. Because this is something I feel that started small and grew into something very violent. Now, I know in this timeline, it doesn't say, oh, there was an altercation on his birthday and we were concerned for our daughter's safety or for Passion's safety. That's why we were calling her the next day. No, they say it was just a regular routine FaceTime call that she usually does. And the fact that she never picked up or never FaceTime back, that made them concerned. But it seems as if there's something that happened at that birthday party that may have been an indication of concern that could spark concern for the family. Again, we can't predict everything. Sometimes these red flags are absolutely subtle as hell. And a lot of times we have men and women that are victims and survivors of DV hiding in plain sight that hold this quietly. They don't say these things out loud to their friends or family out of fear or out of embarrassment. But I'm saying right now, for those of y'all who are going through it right now, for those of y'all who are surviving every day right now in your uncomfortable and dangerous relationships and situations, I say, please speak up. I say what's going on. Because also, if they don't know, they won't know. And then at the end of it, they will sit there and regret not being able to help you out before it's too late. So, you know, my thoughts and prayers go out to this family, to all of them. You know, there's a lot of people that we love right now that are going through it right now that could eventually go down this kind of route. Just keep an eye on your family. Keep an eye on the people that you love. All right? Just keep an eye on that. One other thing, though, too, I do want to share this with you guys. The GoFundMe. Okay. So Passion Jeffrey and Taylen Mosley's memorial. They raised the goal to 50,000. It is at now 38,155. I'm gonna put the GoFundMe link in the chat as well. Okay. But and one thing though too, really quick, before I go into this GoFundMe part, because someone said Tex Mess said maybe she just said no. And you know what? She may have just said no. And I will say this too. Sometimes there is no red flags. Sometimes there are no breadcrumbs of DV, no inkling or hints of DV at all. Just out of nowhere, someone snaps. So we, of course, have to put that in consideration as well. But I do feel that this situation, I feel like there may have been hints of something. And of course, it could have been between her and this monster, and no one else knew. Then again, maybe people did know, but ignored it and said, oh, that's between them, which sucks. Okay? Which absolutely sucks. You got to play both sides of the fence, unfortunately, because we don't know everything as of yet. And hopefully we do find out more information. But this is what we know so far. He took this young woman's life, then took the child, drove off, and allegedly tossed this kid into a lake to just let him fend for himself. That is absolutely insane. So let's take a look at this. It says, of course, Passion, Jeffrey, and Taylen Mosley's memorial. Passion and Taylen were unalive this week in St. Petersburg, Florida. Police found Passion's body on Thursday afternoon. And for 24 plus hours, there was an Amber Alert out for Taylen Mosley. Taylen's body was found on Friday night. And then, of course, it says see news article. Okay. So the actual organizer, does that say up here? I thought they said it here. Okay. So there's a couple people who organized this fundraiser. Okay. So the most recent one says, thank you again for your contribution. We have updated our fundraising goal based on our funeral arrangements. Originally, we would have liked to have Passion and Taylen together in one casket, as you seldom saw them apart in their living. Unfortunately, we learned we must have two separate caskets and burial spots. We also want to adorn the casket with tons and tons of flowers. Thanks for all your donations, and we ask that you share this GoFundMe with others. Any donations are appreciated and will go a long way in making what will be a tough time a bit easier for the family without having to think about the expense of burying two people. And it says justice for Passion and Taylen. Now, I did put it into the chat, okay, into the family chat, but so please go and check that out. I will make sure that I post it on my Twitter as well. If you're interested in supporting or helping this family out, I can only imagine what the family's going through, and the way that these two lost their lives was so abrupt and so tragic. I think that, just a little help for them would mean a lot. If you got $2, if you got $5, it helps. It goes a long way. A little goes a long, long way, guys. Okay. And yes, Raven, yes, justice for Passion and Taylen for sure. Okay, guys. But that is the show for now. Okay. That is the show for now. Don't worry. I'll be back here in a very short while, because we got to check out the chaos, the circus that's happening right now as we speak in New York City. So we will be talking about that here very, very soon. Be on the lookout for that live. It'll be happening shortly. So yes, please do that for me, okay? But anyway, guys, please hit that like button down below. That would really, really mean a lot. Hit that like button down below. And of course, do not forget to crush that subscribe button. And of course, hit that join button and join button down below if you're interested in supporting. But most importantly, make sure you hit that notification bell to all so that you know when I go live. Okay, guys? But I just wanted to give you guys a bit of that information. Of course, I'll keep an eye on this case as it grows, as it continues to build. Okay. But for right now, that closes a very, very big segment or big chapter for this particular story. Kimberly in Japan, thank you so much for the 500 yen. I really do appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much. But be on the lookout. We are going to be going into the political world this afternoon. So I appreciate it if you guys can hop on and join me as we watch the chaos, because it's chaotic on both sides of the spectrum. It is wild. So we will be looking at that very shortly. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. See you guys in a little bit. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.